Major gun busts in New York City this week. The Queens County District Attorney reports officers arrested and charged 4 people for hoarding arsenals of ghost guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition, all inside their homes. It's part of a broader effort nationwide to get illegal guns off the streets. In his State of the Union address this week, President Biden promised to crack down on the trafficking of ghost guns. He says they're particularly dangerous because they don't have serial numbers. It means they can't be traced. People can buy these guns online and put them together at home. It's that easy. No registration, no background checks. Across the U.S., ghost guns have become more popular in the past few years. The feds report they seized only about 1,700 ghost guns back in 2016. By 2020, that number had jumped to nearly 9,000. Law enforcement officials say some people are now trying to make big money by turning their homes into full-on manufacturing centers exclusively for ghost guns. CNBC's Andrea Day has the story.
How does that feel?
Smooth as silk. No difference from my duty Glock.
This is ATF Special Agent in Charge John DeVito. He led our cameras inside this private police range to show us dozens of homemade weapons called ghost guns. DeVito's been on the force for 23 years, but says he's never seen anything like this.
We're finding basically bulk stash houses where they're manufacturing these in bulk.
Home factories, he says, across the country, where people are ordering gun parts, assembling them, and then selling the unregistered firearms.
It's individuals that basically are acquiring the equipment and the tools to make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. They see a means to an end, and it's a profit. This one was recovered from a gang member 1 month ago.
Approximately how long would it take to make a gun like that?
We've taken individuals and given them the equipment and timed them, and they've manufactured a perfectly functioning firearm within 30 minutes.
These images, not seen by the public until now, taken inside a home factory recently busted by the ATF. The gun operation, located near L.A., investigators say the entire home was transformed into a manufacturing center.
It's becoming more and more prevalent every single day.
In Douglasville, Georgia, this 14-year-old girl was shot and killed by a ghost gun. The shooter, investigators say, her younger brother.
13-year-old kid got on weight about 80 pounds. We were able to make a weapon from start to finish.
He says the teen was making and selling the guns out of his family's home. But the scheme turned deadly when some of the buyers tried to steal a weapon.
He was shooting at the folks that took his weapon, but instead, he shot his sister.
Hundreds of miles north in Queens, New York, District Attorney Melinda Katz created a special investigative unit to find and shut down home factories.
The community doesn't know that there's someone building weapons right next door to them.
Her unit busting 9 home factories since August, inside apartment buildings and private homes all over the borough.
We're finding dozens of guns in a bust. It could be in a bedroom, it could be in a basement, it could be in a kid's playroom.
And even scarier, she says,
there's a 300% increase in the city of New York where ghost guns are utilized in different types of crime.
A rule proposed by the ATF would regulate ghost gun parts and kits as fully made firearms.
The proposed rule has been out now for some period of time. There's been comment. There's been a lot of political discussion and technical discussion about this.
Seth DeCharm is the former Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General of the United States.
The open question is whether or not the public safety threat that could flow from being able to manufacture guns at homes justifies increased regulation.
I want to see the legislation put in place that treats them as firearms, because that's what they become 100% of the time.
Brian Muehlberger joined a lawsuit demanding the ATF update their rules. His mission, fueled by personal tragedy. His 15-year-old daughter shot and killed at school by a classmate. The firearm, a ghost gun.
I've never wept or cried as hard as I did at that moment.
And it's tough to even imagine what he's going through. But Brian says if this regulation does go through and changes are made, that it'll mean that his daughter can be remembered for something good and not just as another victim.